Hi, welcome. Here's some new books. Hamster Vice, a takeoff on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from way back in the 80s when I was a kid. Kind of like the way this is drawn, black and white. Hamster Vice, when you're in the mood for something different. Here's Concrete. This is a good book right here. Not a lot of science fiction in these two books, though, but it's pretty interesting. Alien, Martha Washington. This was a pretty interesting book from 80s, I believe, late 80s, early 90s. Here's Cyber 7 Eclipse. Dirty Pair. Jonah Hex. This is a Western, but it's kind of fantasy based. He's got Jonah Hex as a disfigured face right here. It was a movie with Josh Brolin as well. Not DC's most famous characters. You know, Jonah Hex and Sergeant Rock, they're not really reprinted a lot. They're brought back every once in a while. They're pretty good books, though, if you're interested in them, but they're not superheroes. And this isn't really science fiction, but Jonah Hex is different, so I would call it fantasy. I like the art. This is a funny commercial that was in 80s comics. Old cartoons. Mm-hmm. really anything. So there's like Western fantasy, I guess. I don't know what to call this. Warlord, I had that book. There's science fiction right here. Spinner's Galaxy. Mm-hmm. Here's Star Trek. This was Star Trek after Star Trek V. The Klingons want Kirk's head. And there's a good old Enterprise. So they blew up the Enterprise and brought in a new Enterprise. Looks just the same. So rather than set it in the original series, they set it between the movies. I thought it was pretty interesting. Pretty interesting idea. No, IDW is doing Star Trek, but this was a different era. It's kind of interesting how they were doing it then. If you can find this book, get it. No, Peter David, who wrote some Star Trek novels, wrote some comics. I'm gonna go back and see if this was written by Peter David. Looks like Harry Mudd right there. Some Klingons. Green Lantern. Mm-hmm. Kind of silly. Didn't really take itself too seriously. I kind of like it. Mm-hmm. Interesting error. Let me see who wrote this. Was that Peter David that wrote this? Peter David did write this. He wrote some novels of Star Trek. Here's Star Wars. Howard Chaykin did the adaptation from the first film. Pretty much the best films are the first one, Empire. I kind of like Return better if they had Wookiees instead of Ewoks, but they wanted it to be child friendly, so they took a different approach. This is really good artwork. So even if the story wasn't so good, you had great artwork. And then Howard Chaykin did a series called American Flag. It was pretty good. Used to have some of these. Mm-hmm.